Go to badboymembership.com. You'll go from not getting what you want when it comes to you dealing with women to actually getting what you want, to being the guy women want to be with, women want to date, women want to have sex with. All you need to do is go to badboymembership.
Embarrass you. I really like you. So can we do a redo? And we have, and I've interviewed her ever since.
Dope. Powerful. I'm gonna ask you about Wendy Williams. I heard you telling the story about one time you guys wanted to interview her and she declined. Really?
Yeah, that was when I've had really good experiences with Wendy.
Right.
This particular time, as she was going through her marriage falling apart with Kevin, and Wendy wasn't really being honest about what was going on. The blogs were following her husband and her mistress and the baby, and you can't keep acting like this is not going on.
Mm-hmm.
So we would talk about it every day, and I don't think that Wendy liked it at that time. And it could be because she was so hurt. She loves this man. This man is playing her, but everybody was talking about it. So when she came to the radio station, she did not want to come down to our studio. And she was pretty mean to the people at Power 99. She was pretty mean to them. So I was kind of glad.
Didn't she say like absolutely not or something like that?
Yeah, she said absolutely not that she would want to talk to us. And I was a little surprised because I've had good experiences with Wendy, you know, and interviewing her when the talk show first launched. But I think when you get to a point where your private life overshadows the public, you know, a lot of people get cheated on every day, but everybody don't hear about it.
Right.
The side chick and the mistress that she happened to be, the world don't know. But with Wendy, the whole world knew because she was put on blast.
Let me ask you this, because you made me think of Charlemagne when her and Charlemagne had the show and it was syndicated, and we used to listen to it on the school bus on the way to school on Power 99 in the morning. And I thought they were sitting smack dab in Philly. And then come to find out years later, Charlemagne, I'm not sure if Wendy wins, but I know Charlemagne went over to 100.3 to beat.
Yes.
It was DJ over there for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever meet Charlemagne, and are you surprised about the height of his success coming from where he's at now?
Because he did not blow up until he went to New York. He kind of struggled here in Philadelphia, but when we put him on the Breakfast Club, he has the perfect role. Everyone has their role. Envy, Angela, Charlemagne. But when he was here in Philly, he wasn't meant to be the captain of the ship. You see what I'm saying? Where Envy is like the captain of the ship.
Gotcha.
Going to New York and being placed in that, it helped him to blossom because he didn't have to carry the whole show. And he could just really become the person that you see today. He has grown tremendously. Never would have imagined that he would blow up the way that he is. He's got a new show coming on Comedy Central, and Steve Colbert is going to be the executive producer.
Huge.
I was going to ask you, do you think that he has evolved from that since those 100.3 to beat? You think he's the captain of a lot of ships now, or could he captain?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Especially knowing that he used to work in Philly and didn't do well in Philly.
Right.
But he went to New York and he blew up. Oh, yeah. Yep. He is definitely evolved.
Now, I watched one of your interviews with one of the local Philly doctors. I forget his name. Forgive me. And you were talking about, taking care of your mother and her passing away, and you having a scare with your own health. I think you said you had a blood vessel that
popped in your head.
Wow. Right. Take us through that and the inspiration of, looking at life a different way and feeling like, that you had to turn things around and be strong.
6 years ago, I suffered a stroke. It happened two weeks after my mother died. I took care of her for years. I would never do anything in my life different. At that time, it's like you put the mask on. You don't let nobody see you be depressed or sad or crying. I was taking care of my mom. I was a mom myself, raising a teenage son. And I still had to go to work and be happy and play music and be Patty Jackson. It was like a perfect storm, a tsunami came down. In 2 weeks afterwards, I had a stroke. I didn't see the doctor for 2 days. I knew something happened to me, but it wasn't until I couldn't walk, and then I lost my vision. That it was like, oh my God, something is really wrong. And I was in disbelief. And I remember one night in my room crying and saying, why? What has happened to me? What is going on? And I spoke so clear. Like a lot of people have strokes, they can't sing or talk anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Or they lose their ability. I never lost that ability. And that's when God let me know, I'm still here, but I want you to slow down. I'm still here and I got you. And I said, if you get me out of this wheelchair, if I could just get my life, I could just see again. I'll spend the rest of my life telling people the importance of not only taking care of themselves, because you reach a point in your adulthood. You're like a sandwich. You got your parents over here. You got your kids over here. Then you got work and everything else.
Yeah.
You don't take care of yourself, you will break. Even the strongest, even those who want to be superwoman, you will break. And I broke. And you know why I broke? Because I wasn't taking care of myself. I wasn't drinking water. That's what popped right in my head. I ain't feel it. It just a little muscle just popped. Had me jacked up.
Wow.
But eventually I learned how to walk again. My vision came back and it gave me an even stronger will to do. I always tell people, when you look at me, this is life after stroke, because I am a stroke survivor.
Powerful.
Yes.
I was going to ask you what keeps you motivated to stay so young in media. It's a sport right now, and it's a genre that it's here today, gone tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
The story's here today, gone tomorrow. You got to have something new now, and you're right up there with the best of them when it comes to YouTube and radio. So what keeps you young in this game?
You know what keeps me young in this game? It was some white programmer. He referred to us as old at DAS. He said, they're old. They ain't going to get it. And here I go. That's why I ain't doing it. But this girl, Shamara, who used to work at Power 99, said, I'm going to teach you and I'm going to show you. And once I embraced it, I became a beast. Because you know what you got to be? You got to be consistent.
Yes, ma'am.
You got to have a good work ethic and you got to be consistent. You can't do it and then like, I don't feel like doing it today. I'll do it in 2 weeks. No, you got to be consistent every day. Be consistent with what you do and you will see the results.
Preach.
Yeah, they definitely appreciate that. Definitely can attest to that. So what's next for you? In your career, what do you see in the horizon for Miss Patty Jackson?
What do I see in the horizons? I'm hoping that I'm doing this for many more years because I love what I do. I'm going to write a book.
Oh, yeah.
Write a book. There's a lot of wisdom here, a lot of wisdom. And I love being able to touch young people. I do. There's a book. I want to talk about my life. The fun stuff, radio, celebrities, music, but also what I've had to overcome. When I got into this business, I just wanted to be on the radio. But God's vision will always be bigger than what you see or what you want. And I look at it as God, he fixed me up. Well, if you're going to be on TV and you dream of having a billboard, you got to get your look together. I suffer gum disease really bad. I had major dental surgery. It's like he knew you can't be on a billboard with a messed up mouth.
Mm-hmm.
You can't be doing videos and having people, your look has got to be right. You see? So his vision, my vision wasn't to do videos. I think it's hysterical that I do videos. I was hysterical when I had to have a stroke to get a billboard. Einstein, I was all over everywhere. All I saw was my big nose on these billboards, but I always wanted to have a billboard. But I had to have a stroke to have a billboard and be everywhere. God's vision for me was way bigger than this girl who just wanted to be on the radio playing songs. He knew. And he prepared me for it.
We definitely appreciate your time. Appreciate the wisdom. Miss Patty Jackson on the Hip Hop Uncensored Podcast. If you may, before we get out of here, leave your lasting remarks to all of our all of our viewers and our listeners, as well as all your social media handles and where they can find you and watch your content.
Okay. On IG, it's WDAS Patty, Patty. On Twitter, it's MS Patty Jackson. On Facebook, it's Patty Jackson. YouTube, it's Patty Jackson. And you will find me there with the auntie advice and the food and the videos and the fun and stuff like that.
Definitely appreciate your time. It's Patty Jackson on the Hip Hop Uncensored Podcast. If you ever find yourself down here in the Atlantic City area, South Jersey, love to have you in our studio. Come check it out. Come sit with you live. And then
well, I am going to be there. I'm doing the Atlantic City Jazz Festival.
Nice.
I'm doing a comedy show. The Jazz Festival is September the 11th. There's a comedy show October 2nd.
Mm-hmm.
And don't nobody know this yet, but Frankie Beverly and Maids is coming to Boardwalk Hall November the 6th.
Wow.
Uh-oh, exclusive.
Ooh.
Well, we need you down here for all that. And how can we get some backstage passes for all this media passes?
We're gonna have to keep in touch because I would like to meet you guys. I love to go to Kelsey's to eat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The Mother's Day Music Festival next year. We got Keith Sweat, Fantasia. So we got to hook up.
Yes, ma'am. Absolutely. Being honored.
Yeah.
Patty Jackson on the Hip Hop Uncensored Podcast.